Well, hey everybody, it's me, Jermaine, and I am back for another Simple Truth update. I want to give you a quick update and do a review on the movie, The Black Panther. Now, I know there's a lot of back and forth, a lot of controversy as far as was this or was this not a black movie? You know, all I want to say first and foremost, let me put this out there first, that before I go into sharing with you my review, there will be a few spoilers. So if you have not seen the movie, I would suggest that you wait until you've seen the movie, and then you can come back and take a look at the review here. So there, I got that out the way. You know, if you're gonna watch my video, I don't want you, oh, Jermaine, you spoiled the movie for me. It is what it is. I've already given you a disclaimer. But when it comes down to it, in my personal opinion, I think it's one of the best Marvel movies that have been done as far as development of characters and just overall storyline. The one thing I can give Marvel credit for versus DC is that they take the time for people who are going to be moviegoers to be able to understand what the characters are about, and therefore the story is a lot stronger because of it. So when it comes down to Black Panther, you have two main characters in Black Panther. You have T'Challa, which is the king, Black Panther himself, and then you have Killmonger, which is a Wakandan. And let me just share what that is. Wakanda is the fictional country in Africa. Okay, was having some technical difficulties there. My daggone my holder for my phone messed up, so I just want to, that's the reason for the different angles. So I was telling you about Wakanda and letting you know that it's a third world country by design. That's what the outside world knows it to be, but in all honesty and truth, they are very rich in technology and very rich as a country in and of itself. So now you have, as I was stating before, you have two characters that are the main characters. You have T'Challa, who is Black Panther himself, and he is pretty much the hero. And then you have the anti-hero, or the protagonist, which is Killmonger. And the one thing about the movie is that it really shows how, you know, Hollywood has a tendency that no matter what kind of movie is being made, it makes very distinct development of characters to show you two different things. It shows you a side of one character that is projected to be very peaceful and very laid back, but then you have this this very angry and very upset, villain. But in this case, the villain, which is Killmonger, played by Michael B. Jordan, and Chadwick Boseman plays T'Challa, or Black Panther himself. It really shows what is shown in this movie is that, Killmonger has been done wrong. He is of Wakandan descent, and his father was T'Challa's uncle, and his father had been killed, but no one knew about Killmonger or Michael B. Jordan's character. And so this young man grows up in a society where he's pretty much left alone, and due to his anger, he becomes part of special forces, basically learns to kill from the American government, and then eventually he does what is necessary to find out who he is and where he came from. He knew that because his father had been secretly teaching him that all of his life, but it seemed as he got older, he got more, his intensity for wanting to be a part of his people. He seen the struggle in the inner city in America of what, was going on, and how without any type of assistance, this degradation, poverty, and mistreatment is continued. So he teams up with a villain that has been a problem for the Wakandans for years, which happens to be a white character. But the whole thing about him is that he wants to use the technology that his country has to be able to help an oppressed people. He makes that very clear in the movie. He says he wants to put this technology in the hands of an oppressed people so they will no longer be oppressed. And so he comes back to Wakanda. He offers as a token of respect the dead body of this villain that had been waging war against the Wakandans for years. And then by the law of Wakanda, he, challenges T'Challa, and he wins the throne. But then ultimately, T'Challa is not dead. It's assumed at some point that he is dead, but he comes back and he takes over. But what we have is a situation where Hollywood portrays anyone that wants to stand up as being the negative image, but the one that wants to, in a sense, do what is expected as the hero. And it kind of reminds you, I was listening to a video by David Banner that was talking about the review of this movie as well. And he made a lot of sense when he said, you look at it as T'Challa's more like the Malcolm X. No, I'm sorry. Let me rephrase that. T'Challa is more like the Martin Luther King, and Killmonger is more like the Malcolm X. And not to say that either one is more right than the other, but in the climate that we live in today, the approach of Killmonger is more the pulse of what's going on today. And I will tell you, at the very end of the movie, Killmonger is injured to the point where he's about to die, but he makes a very, very poignant statement. He says, bury me at sea, because the ancestors knew that it was better to die than to live as a slave. I'm paraphrasing that. To live free than to die in bondage. And so that made a heck of a point. But, you're going to have your own thoughts of the movie. You're going to have your own insights. But my whole take of the movie is that it was a very good movie. I believe that all manner of people should see this movie. I think that, you will enjoy the storyline. But there are a lot of nuggets of truth in the movie. And if you watch with a very mindful perspective, you'll pick up a lot of those nuggets. And the simple truth of the whole matter is that, the portrayal of the people of color, especially black people in this country, has been one that when a movie is made, they're always pimps, dope dealers, drug addicts, gang style killers. Not too many positive role models, slaves. But the thing is, when you have a movie that is done where you have two heroes, and I do have to say two heroes that are portrayed very well, it doesn't matter who's behind the movie, whether, people are complaining about the fact that, yeah, it may be a black director, but it's a white producer, white executive producer, white movie company. All that is nonsense. What is important is that we see better portrayals of people of color and allow for the society at whole to see more positive projections and portrayals in this country than the negativity that Hollywood has made money off of for a number of years upon years upon years. I want to thank you for joining me. This has been The Simple Truth, and as I always tell you, it's the simple things that are oftentimes the most profound, but yet they're the most difficult to put into practice and to actually do. I want to thank you again, and I'll be sure to see you, and you again on another episode real soon.